Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to All About Racing. First time in a few months back on the channel with a brand new league to showcase on the All About Racing channel. We're here at Austria for the first time for me commentating on the reverse format for this circuit. We're one of the shortest circuits on the calendar, 4.3 kilometres, 2.6 miles in length. It's going to be 36 laps to race later on, but we've got a sprint to show you first off, and that's 18 laps with a one-shot qualifying, and we'll go into a short qualifying session for the race. This is a format for a week-by-week basis. This is not just a one-off or a few races per year. It's the full format throughout the season. So the C3 hard, C4 medium, and C5 soft tyre is used for this evening's race. 10 corners around this circuit, as I said, reverse though, so the characteristics will be slightly different. About to go into qualifying, different teams as well, not using the standard teams, so we're going to have to get used to that over the course of the rest of the season. Round 7 of I think 10 rounds here as we go into the one shot with 14 drivers this evening. We'll go with Young Jones as we go up into turn 1 here. Through 2, and he may have already invalidated the lap. He has indeed, and someone else is into the wall. Goddard's black liveried God Tent Racing up out of turn 7, which of course is Renton. We're going to go up and over the rise and then down into the left-hander, which is normally turn 3, but turn 8 this evening, and he runs wide where the track dips away, and we'll lose a bit of that front rotation. Down through the right kink of turn 9, and then through this little left that isn't a corner number, and then back over to the right-hand side for the downhill left-hander with the louder curve, and through that DRS detection point and across the line. We get a 104.237 for Jetfish, who has taken a pole for the sprint. For perennial disappointment racing. And we've still got a couple of drivers yet to set their laps. Bilton Matt, who's just finished, and just the last driver coming up now. That is the end of the one-shot qualifying for the sprint, and said 18 laps coming up in just a minute. So just waiting for the start. Sorry, just going quiet there. I've got a telemetries app, and I'd like to get everyone's names pretty much right, instead of just saying player on every single name, unless you've got your telemetry ID on, your user ID. So I might ask people for that for next week, because it does help. It means I don't have to do it, but that's why I am a little bit quiet in between the 2 sessions. So 18 laps to go. Very different run into turn 1. Get that slight left-hander first before the actual left-hander, and it's very tight up into turn 1. We will get that formation lap, of course, and we will just go quiet again just for a second. We will have a look at the tyres. I'm sure most people... Oh, there is a bit of a variant. I'm not sure if we've got any specific rules on anything like this. With the tyres or anything like that, we'll have to sort of ask a bit more about that next week. So as we all get lined up, I've only got one more name to do, which is Young Jones at the back, so we'll just do that in a minute once we get underway. As we get ready for the lights and the revs rise. Jetfish on pole, ALZ alongside, and we are away here in Austria, and Jetfish gets a pretty good launch. But so does ALZ as he comes into turn one alongside into this left-hander and takes the lead of the race as we go into two as they appear, and one is already around. That's ALZ, who did take the lead into turn one and is now falling all the way down surely to the back of the grid. We've got Temp's Shadow now up into second place as we go up into the right-hander of turn five, sorry, and then into this left-hander of 6, and then into 7 at the Jochen corner as we go uphill, and traction not bucket loads of it out of that corner as we go up and over the rise and then down into the left-hander of turn 8. Oh, and there we see one of the Believes are the Vindaloo Velocity Racing cars there. Mystery. And the thing is, they're supposed to be one of those where we've not got the logos changed. I don't think people have changed their logos to be exactly the same, so that'll be a little bit confusing down into the second lap of 18 through the double right-hander and up the hill. Cars looking skittish in this second sector. Up and around the left-hander as we go into the long left uphill section. As we see Mystery there outbraking himself a bit, and actually going to have to pick himself back up again and get himself underway down the hill. He does have God Temps Racing, I keep thinking to say Godzilla there, but it's not Godzilla. And I will say I'm a bit rusty. It's been a little while, a couple of months since I've commentated, just had a little breakout. So apologies for any rustiness over the next week or two. Well, I'm really enjoying the reverse layout actually. I was always unsure about how these reverse layouts would play out overall. So sorry we haven't had the installs up. do apologise. For anyone watching later on, make sure to keep those up as we go down the hill. Once again, we have got an overtake here for Rosk. Goes past ALZ. We have had one driver out who was disqualified. Snappy around the final corner. And down the start finish. DRS available, soon to be no more, of course. The last remnants of it seen in the video games. Back to their batteries, people are going to have to battery save. We will see that deceleration. I wonder if people will just stick with F125 and prefer the racing of the old school now. V6 turbo with the old MGU-H, which of course made a big difference. And here we go for ALZ. We've got movement up top as well for AZ Dog. And down the hill we go. So just over half a second between the top two, not watched them for a minute or so. As we have a yellow flag in the middle sector, and that's around turn 6. I have definitely noticed the engines sound different. They sound like more like naturally aspirated engines on the multiplayer cars. I think they do sound a bit better. Here we go, side by side, turn 2. Between 5th and 6th, or 6th and 7th, should I say, which is Spanner, who's... Oh, he made himself look a bit of a spanner there and spun it around in turn 2. I'm not sure if there was contact there, so maybe that's not a fair dig. Didn't actually fully see, I just couldn't help myself but say it. Lap 6 of 18, or halfway through that lap, and Temp's Shadow is well out in front on his own now. Here goes Godzart. As you go down into one, we've got another driver coming into the pit lane. Long old stop for him here. That was obviously a time penalty that he was serving. Really like the purple livery. Really like it. Very nice. Yellow flag again quickly, but then gone away. Built on the mat. Passing Jet. I just think these two are... maybe they are teammates. Liveries look quite similar, no they're not. It's John Deere. The green livery have built a mass, and then we've got a driver coming into the pits. It's interesting that they're going for pit stops in this sprint race. Maybe it's mandatory in the league. As said, I will clarify more rules for next week, and it'll be interesting to see what they get up to on pit exit, whether they follow that line out or if they pop out before turn 2. So do follow that curve all the way round. Turn 2 and so on. And Jetfish there making up huge ground into turn 8. Gets past with ease with the DRS and going into that downhill braking zone. Very quick first sector on this reverse layout, and we're watching AZ Dog and Godzart going at it here. This is going to be Haggis and Chaos, and the God Temp Racing teams fighting one another. Vinbury Racing just up ahead as those two dive into the pits on the left hand side, and Godzilla goes through and into third place. You can see major close up there from Dog potentially. Of course, you can get a bit of confusion in the pit stops as it's all randomised under the multiplayer cars. They are very, very close together. On pit exit now. Was able to keep the place as it stands as Rosk is just coming out of the pits. So most drivers pretty spread out. You've got AZ Dog and Mystery, of course, still together after they just came out of the pit lane. And the race leader into the pits now. We can see a move from Dog. He certainly thinks about it. He now goes past. Temps closing in on Jetfish closing on Fiesco, who hasn't pit. The top two are the only drivers who haven't pit so far, as Temps now tries to go the long way round on Jetfish and gets the move done as they now make the charge on paternal disappointing driver. But he goes into the pit lane, and now it's left for the top three. as it stands now, but that could easily change very quickly as Mystery's not so far behind, and then going to go side by side with Godzilla, who made a bit of a mistake. Take Godzilla again, I do apologise. There is someone I used to commentate called Godzilla, so that's where the confusion comes in. Godzilla. And Ross getting past Fiesco, who's just come out of the pits, and Spanner coming back into the session. And Revere getting himself back in on lap 12 of 18. Making our way down this very fast downhill section in the final sector. Into the final corner, which is extremely tight. Might see some lunges into that corner potentially. Now losing first place. Will the two all-black cars get themselves into the top three at the end of the sprint? Only a handful of laps to go as Steve Penny retires from the sprint as we wait for normal qualifying for the Grand Prix. Down the hill we go. Yellow flag flying right now, and that's for the retiree car, so it can be ignored. And we've got this train of cars now fighting for the final place on the podium as we see AZ Dog go wide in turn 2, through 3 and 4, up the hill into turn 5, as we're on board with the helicopter camera. Will be short-lived as the rear steps out on the Haggis and Chaos car. And again, as you see, the wheels snap as they go up and over the crest, and Mystery takes 4th place. Godzilla been able to get himself a healthy distance. And the top 3 not separated by very much at all. Just over 2.5 seconds between the top 3, so still all to play for, with just under 4 laps to go. Oh, someone's gone off there at turn 1. That's Bilton Matt. He does get himself going again, does he? Falls down to 9th place. He's got 3 seconds of time penalties, but the driver ahead of him, he's got 6 seconds. Here goes Godzilla against his teammate, and gets past as we go down the hill towards the final corner. Three laps to go, including the one we're on. Bilton Matt making up some of those places he lost, having that spin earlier on. AZ Dog happy to come into the pits, and that was for his second stop, the only driver who has pitted twice, who is still running in the race. So only 2 laps to go. As we go through turn 1 and 2, watching the race leader, and then second and third behind, not too far behind, is Mystery to that third place. As he closes up into turn 7, and we'll get that DRS to deploy down the back straight. Gets close, we're going to see him move into the final corner. He attempts to use that battery to close in. We go on to that final lap, and there's 4 seconds between the top 2, and Mystery almost loses the back end of his car and then gets himself a 3-second time penalty, and the chance of a podium in the sprint is pretty much over as long as Temps can keep himself on the road. Looking at 2 warnings, so he's only got 1 to go. So it might be worth Mystery just trying to get past. But it may not happen. It might do. It very much might do. He thinks about it. Doesn't really get the purchase. Jetfish does win the sprint, and Godzilla in second. Third was Temps, and Mystery came home in 4th. AL 2737 crosses the line. Cisco, and this is a photo finish, isn't it, between these 3 crossing the line. He's a dog in Roscoe, and the dog goes up a place. We're waiting for Young Jones, and then Spanner Apex behind, and Double Cream Cat rounds out the 12 cars that finished the sprint. So here is your sprint results. Jetfish finishing first, Godzilla second, third was Temps, fourth with Mystery, AL2737 was fifth, sixth was AZ Dog, Fiesco was seventh, Bilton Matt eighth, ninth was Ross Go, Young Jones 10th, Spanner 11th, 12th was Double Cream Cat, Steve Penny did not finish, and nor did Snappily, who was disqualified actually, I think. We'll be back in a minute for the start of qualifying. We'll just go on pause, keep it the same stream, but we'll be back whenever they're ready. Could be 5 minutes, could be 10 minutes. Just sit tight if you are watching at home. See you in a minute. And we are back for qualifying, and the conditions have changed significantly since the sprint. We're into intermediate wet weather conditions for this qualifying start. 22 degrees, 29 degrees track temperature, air temperature 22 degrees. It's quite a cold surface as we wait for drivers to come out of the garage. Already there being 17 minutes on the clock. So drivers just being patient by the looks of things, waiting to come out of the garage. And we have a couple who have come out. I was expecting them to come towards the camera, not away from it. Still getting used to that reverse grid. Reverse grid, should I say? Reverse layout. Track layout as we get Mystery out on track, and Steve Penny, that didn't have the greatest of sprints. Just getting a feel for the conditions. I wonder if they'll get any better. They may, of course, get worse as well. So getting out early, getting that first lap in is vital in these conditions. So here comes Steve Penny to set the first lap of the evening in Grand Prix qualifying. Uphill left, tentative everyone is to go through. That left-hander and runs wide and almost off track there as we get Mystery starting a lap as well, just behind. And really is just behind as well as we go through the right-hander. Who's going to set the purple first sector? It is Mystery. Quite a big difference between the 1.5 seconds in that first sector going through. The left-hander is the back end of that John Deere. Does step out. And he backs off to let Mystery go through to complete his lap. As he now comes down the hill to set the benchmark time. So 15.8, we're looking at sort of 10 seconds, 11 seconds off a dry time. So we've got a few drivers who are setting laps but have invalidated their times, and Steve Penny is out of qualifying in turn 2. Lost the front end and will take no further part with his 120.4. I would imagine if everyone else can set laps, that could be the worst time. Got soft tyres on. Fiesco's car as he comes into the final corner. And surely that was a mistake. 131.7 for him. Young Jones. As he comes down the hill to complete his lap. He must have invalidated Mystery. Does set a time. Temp Shadow there as well. He's on the lap, and Double Cream Cat just making his way down the hill. Just personal best times for him as the track is starting to dry up now, and these will just be banker laps with over 11.5 minutes left on the clock. As he comes up to the line, 117.7. So Mystery the only man putting in a decent intermediate time, but I think we're about time for dry tyres. Spanner going very slowly around turn 8. His car 86 makes his way down the hill through turn 9. First slip up of the corner numbers into the final corner. And across the line for 116.9. Young Jones putting a better lap in, but then resetting to track. I wonder if that's allowed. We did catch that, so if anyone will see us on the stream later on, not sure if it's allowed or not. Usually not, but as I said, not gone into full detail and depth. So you can see who's just crossed the line there. Temp Shadow putting the fastest lap in, 112.9. He's going to surely be at the point of slick tyres now. But people still out on the track setting intermediate times, even though the rain has now stopped. The track temperature still where it is. Maybe there are still just some light spots and it's not fully there yet. So there are some drivers now going on to those slick tyres, one of them being Mystery, who was on provisional pole before. We're going to look at a 106, 107 maybe at this point, with the track temperature just starting to come up now. And still just struggling, as you can see there, with the rear end, as Godzart goes on to provisional pole, but that's on an intermediate time, and Mystery going much faster than most others on the slick tyre. And DRS is now enabled me, we'll be able to use it down the start finish. For the final part of his lap, and he does take provisional pole, only just maybe the DRS really did help with that at the very end. So here goes Jetfish on pole in the sprint for the one shot. Got plenty more time, around 3 or 4 laps you can do in short qualifying. He does go fastest overall in that first sector. Mystery goes even faster again on the same set of tyres around turn 7. Up and over the crest, down the hill into turn 8. And then the little right that really isn't a corner, turn 9. On the reverse layout. Just over 5 minutes to go as he makes his way down the hill. Good braking performance there in the final corner as he makes his way to the line. This could be pole, or provisional pole, it certainly is. Around 4 seconds faster, 3 seconds faster, sorry, than the next car, Mystery. Built a Matt crossing the line with a 112.6, but he is still on the intermediate tyres. The soft tyres the way to go. Fisco without a front wing, that's not the way to go. We'll have to come in to go again. ALZ starting his first lap and going through the second of those double left-handers, which are even quicker on the reverse layout, through this left and then right fast chicane. Up the hill we go, keeping to the left and trying to take the apex. I have to say, I'm a bit of a fan of Austria backwards. Corners seem a lot more challenging. Going uphill, they seem to really struggle with the rear end down a certain corners. Obviously traction not brilliant with the rear end going lights over the bumps and the elevation change. As we're ascending out of a lot of corners and then descending into braking zones. Like here we are at the final corner and then this long downhill section, descending. Just brings a whole new challenge. AAR goes fastest overall with a 106.6, almost a second faster than the previous provisional pole time. Most drivers in the pits, double cream cat out on a outlap. I think this is the all gas, no brakes team. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's not. We'll have to just double check for next week when everyone's cars. You just get fully loaded in on that one. We'll see Double Cream Cat get fully locked in on this lap. It's 5th lap of the day. Through 1 and 2. I think 2 is absolutely flat on the reverse layout. Flat through 3, of course. And not much braking. And this is where everyone's had a challenge up to 7, turn 6, that's slight left. It's nothing on the reverse, really nothing on the normal layout as well, and then just struggling to get the power down on the exit. We're getting into the final moments of qualifying now as we go up and over the crest and then into this downhill braking, which probably is the hardest on the reverse layout. Keeping to the right hand side, it opens out into the middle and then back over to the right again. And the curb joins you at a funny angle, of course, being set up for the normal format, and we cross the line. The 107.4 does go second fastest, and it's going to be a 1-lap shootout really in the normal qualifying today. With the weather conditions, everyone gets themselves ready to put their final lap in of the day. And Ross goes fastest. We just have enough time to get round to get another lap in, I think. If he's quick, and he's a dog, still got a minute, could be the last driver to cross the line, or is it going to be young Jones? No, he's a bit further up the road. Godzilla as well, done it again. Godzilla should be the last car with 40 seconds left to go. It'll be interesting to see if Ross tries to get there as well. He might try to now, as it's 105.2 from Mystery, and his qualifying is over. Could potentially see a lap here from Ross. 25 seconds to go. Has got the fuel to do it as well and charged up the battery. Ready to go again, ready to challenge. So we'll see who will cross the line for their last lap. Spanner goes 4th fastest, and then Temps snatches that provisional pole away with only a couple of seconds left on the clock before the checkered flag is out. And Mystery isn't on a lap, nor is Ross, who came into the pits ALZ. He's on a flying lap and gone purple in the first sector, personal best in the second. This could be a very good lap, and is provisional pole for AL. And we're waiting for some others. Let's see if they're lighting up. The timing screens Jetfish saying a personal best in that first sector, and a purple in the second. It's on, it's very, very close indeed. And this, it could be a provisional pole if he makes it all sweet and lovely in that final corner, which he did. As we come up to the line, it's an agonising wait, and it is provisional pole for Jetfish. Took pole in the sprint. Is he going to do it again? As Temps is going slower, we've got Bilton Mass, who is still on a lap as he comes around the final corner. Spanner not going faster as well. Is Bilton Mass going to do anything? He only goes 8th fastest overall in the end with a 106.1. Jetfish makes it 2 out of 2 for qualifying performances today, and takes pole for the Grand Prix. And we'll be back in a minute for the formation lap. So we're on the formation lap, sorry. I was a little distracted there. Here's the tyres for everyone. Mediums and hards across the board. You're looking at a medium to hard strategy between sort of 14 to 20 laps, probably looking at ideally about lap 16. And just running a little bit longer, vice versa. You can go on to the softs, potentially go a bit longer, go to lap 20, try and take the softs to the end. For some reason, pretty much everyone's been disqualified from the formation lap. So as they all get lined up ready on the grid, got Jetfish on pole, AAR alongside him, 5 red lights and foot flat to the floor here in Austria, and Jetfish with a pretty good launch this time around, and looks like he may have the lead into turn 1. Doesn't have the inside line though, but does have that lead position as they come around turn 2. And Wilson Matt already making up a couple of places. Is he going to make up another one? As we have Snapley disqualified again. I don't think he's here, unfortunately. But doesn't get himself in anyone's way. Up and around turn 7. And down the long straight is ALZ closes in. And around the final corner to finish lap 1. And of course DRS is now enabled as well, and the top 6, almost the top 6, are within DRS and one another. Top 4 are, however, top 4 all on the medium tyre. Top 2 in the championship, top 2 in the race. As it stands for the moment. And across the line to start lap 3. Jetfish very close. Top 4 all closely together. Seems a very flowing section, sector 2, even more so than on the standard layout through the left-hander. Up the hill, everyone getting some decent traction over the rise. Here comes Jetfish closing in. Is he sizing up a move? For the next corner. He is indeed. Gets into the lead, but I think AAR was going to get DRS back at him again now, as the detection point is so close to the braking zone. and goes back up into the lead. So I was on the assumption it was a 50% race, but it's not. It's only a 30... Is it 30 or 33%? I'm not sure. I think it's 35% race is what it is, which is quite nice. 25 laps. Top four all still as close together as they always were. Bilton Maths just a little bit behind, but he's got a few cars behind him to keep him company. And you see an overtake there from Jetfish again. But is it going to be a bit of deja vu as we come out of the final corner? AAR going to go for it? No, he isn't. Goes wide though. Might have picked up a warning for that. Could have well have picked up a warning for that, in fact, as we go through this fast, technical but flowing middle sector. And top four. All within shot here. Bit of a mistake there from Temps. As I said, just this other train of cars in the top half of the midfield. A bit more separated out is Fiesco that gains a place on Young Jones. I think he made a mistake there, as you could see in the back of shot. Lap 7 of 25, and Young Jones gets that place back again. The fight is on between these two. Nothing separating the top four, but Mystery getting him a bit out of hand there. Around the right hand, having to make a bit of a correction. Left hand down. Just struggling to keep inside that DRS window, so is Temps behind as well, as AAR takes the lead once again. Oh, tyre squeal there from AAR as he tries to get on the power out of turn 7. Could have cost him some time, surely has, as Jetfish comes alongside into turn 7. Gets alongside, not ahead though. Tucks in behind, and again, so much overspeed he has to go past before the final corner. And with this battle that's been going on, it's allowed temps back into the picture. Keep an eye on this battle for 5th is Bilt and Matt holding up this train of cars. We're going to see a move from Godzart down into turn 8. They are not, just that concertina effect as we see AAR getting close. Once again, so going to make the move into turn 1. So just over a third of the way through the race. Jetfish holding on at the moment. Still got a bit of time before the mediums will have to think about a pit stop. 4 or 5 laps. They should last a little bit longer, but Jetfish coming in. So as Al said, you have to do 2-stop strategies in these races. It does seem a little early. No, it isn't, because I've gone off a 50% race in my strategies, so ignore me. 10 laps probably is about right. We'll remember that for next week. Let's go with the 3-second time penalty. So, top 8 haven't pitted yet. Jetfish net leader. As it stands, he has got some traffic ahead of him. Temps and Mystery both come into the pits. Godzar stays out, but he is on the hard tyre. He'll probably go another 3 or 4 laps himself before pitting on to the mediums. Yellow flag in sector 1. That's 4. Is that double green cat? No, it's Godzar who's come out of the pits and lost his front wing. And Jetfish now into second and net first, of course. Here comes ARZ as well. Going to keep saying it. It's sticking. Oh, who's gone straight on? Spanner. Spun himself around. Got himself going again. Few drivers going off. Steve Penny, and I didn't take note of who the other one was. Was it Spanner as well? So only 6/10 between the top two. They've stuck together the whole way throughout, really. Just over half race distance now.